Hey guys, Arin Darcan here, and today I want to talk to you about something I recently experienced and my opinion on the experience and how to kind of fix it moving forward and just some issues that I've had. So the things that happened to me recently is essentially projects, distractions, things that seem like they'll be really good for you, but actually they're not good for you. So if you've been watching my channel, as you're aware, I'm currently building Team Follow-Up. So it's a follow-up system for lead gen agencies to white label to their clients, and it helps with a lot of things. It solves a lot of problems, and it's going really well. It's going really good. And that's what I want to focus on. I want to entirely focus on that. I love it. I say I'm passionate about it. I'll do a whole video about passion, but I'm not passionate about helping agencies, but I'm passionate about building businesses that help people and systems and actually building a product that helps people. So I'm not necessarily passionate about this particular, I love following up with people. I just love to wake up and help people follow up with it. I don't care about that, right? That's kind of like a misconception that a lot of people have when they start business. I think they have to be passionate about it. I'm not passionate about following up with people, but what I'm passionate about is building a business and a system that is able to add value to other people's lives and makes me money. Just being honest, that's what we're all in it for any business. They're there to make money. Anyway, that's a bit of a side note. So I've been building this business. I'm really passionate about Team Follow-Up, about the business as a whole. Love working on it, love working out the problems, and everything's going great. So what's happened recently is that I've been getting involved in some NFT projects, been getting involved with some crypto stuff. When I say get involved, I don't mean I'm starting an NFT project or I've been doing some crazy stuff. I mean literally just buying some NFTs, right? I'm not trying to big myself up. Literally just buying some NFTs, buying some crypto. I also had a couple of e-com stores I was working on. I've obviously got Hawk Reach that I'm still working on. And I've had a few other little projects that have come my way that I've had to turn away. But I had more potential opportunities to do more things as well. And I definitely think that doing more is good. It kind of diversifies it, helps reduce your risk and things. But at the same time, there's definitely a balance to it. And so that's today on this video. I want to talk about that, about balancing your projects and balancing your time amongst things in your life, and also how that actually impacts you and what it does to your brain and your subconscious and things like that. So I'm going to share my screen and jump right into it. So obviously, everyone has a brain. Well, I hope so. If you're alive, you have a brain. This brain is going to be exhibited by a pie chart. In this pie chart, you're going to have things that your brain's handling. Essentially, see your brain as a computer. It's got X amount of RAM, X amount of memory. Obviously, it's a bit, obviously it's not a computer, but just use that analogy for now. In your brain, maybe what you've got is you've got some fundamental things, right? So obviously, naturally, your brain's going to be taken up with thinking about things like food. When's the next meal going to come? Even though you know when the next meal's going to come, your subconscious is still going to be thinking about that. It's going to be thinking even things about sex. When you're next going to have sex, that's another kind of fundamental thing you're going to be thinking about. Another thing you'll be thinking about is safety, right? So are you in a safe place? Are you relaxed? Are you chilled? If you're not in a safe place, then your brain's going to be taking up more of your space thinking about stuff like that. But these kind of the basic things of your brain that you're not going to be able to get rid of. You always have to have them in your brain, in your subconscious somewhere. Your brain's always on the lookout for things that aren't safe. If I suddenly hear a loud bang to my right, my brain's going to forget everything else. My subconscious is going to be looking out for that and immediately make me react to whatever happens, right? Someone knocks at the door. My brain immediately thinks, what's going on? Am I safe? Da, da, da. So there's always going to be that part of your brain that's for that. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what percentages are made up of what, but let's just say around, I'd say it's less than a quarter. I've got a quarter for some reason here. Anyway, these are some basic stuff. You get my point. Then what you've got after that are other things you're working on, other things you're focused on. And I'm not going to get into dopamine, and if you're playing video games, that's releasing a big dopamine spike inside of your brain. Obviously your brain's going to start allocating a big chunk just to video games, because how your brain works is that it's all just dopamine. It relies just on dopamine. So whatever gets the most dopamine, it wants dopamine. That's all your brain wants. I don't want to get deep into this now, but I think it is kind of relevant. Back in prehistoric days, when you're running around as cavemen, when you're hunting a deer, let's say, every time you find maybe a track of a deer, or soon as you see the deer, or as you move closer and closer to hunting a deer, your brain's going to release dopamine because it's a good thing. You need to be eating food, obviously you need to survive. So your brain's going to reward you by giving you dopamine when you start getting closer and closer to actually catching a deer. What video games do is that they essentially mimic that same feeling. You feel like you're achieving, you feel like you're getting closer to something. When you're killing someone on a video game or you hit a new level, your brain releases dopamine. And that's why they're so addictive, because your brain can't tell the difference. Your brain thinks that video games are actually an amazing thing for you and that it's going so well because you keep getting dopamine from it. It's oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Keep doing video games, you're getting dopamine. Obviously it's helping you succeed in life. When it's not, it's just pretending. And your brain can't tell the difference. So anyway, so if you're spending a lot of time on video games, things like that, a lot of that will be taken up here as well. And I'll do a whole separate video about that, because that's like a side topic for this. I'll do a whole separate video about that another day. But yeah, then what other things you got going on? Maybe you've got business. Maybe you've got like a business here. Maybe you've got first business. Maybe you've got business one. Then you've got business two. Then maybe you've got like crypto, NFT. If you've got a lot of money in NFTs, a lot of money in crypto, your brain's going to be constantly worrying about it. If you've got more than you feel comfortable with, you're going to be constantly checking what's the current price of Ethereum, what's the current price of Bitcoin, how my NFTs doing. Just to be honest, that's the kind of trap I'm falling into at the moment. So NFTs, crypto, yeah, any other bullshit stuff. You know, it could be drugs. I don't know if you do drugs. Your brain could be thinking, when am I going to get my next high? When's the next time I'm going to go out and do drugs and whatever else? So this is kind of how your brain's split up, let's say. So subconsciously, your brain is going to be trying to solve problems around these things. So it's going to be thinking, when can I get my next high? When can I get my next meal? When can I next have sex? Am I safe? When can I get my next level on my video game? Maybe you're stuck on a level of a video game, or you're trying to get better at Warzone or something like that. Even though you're not realizing it, your brain is thinking, okay, maybe you had a bad situation. Maybe you're playing a video game and you got killed in some way or another. Your brain's gonna be thinking, how can I do that again without getting killed? And that's how you get better at any skill, right? Your brain processes what happened and you think, okay, next time I'll do this, next time I'll do that. And that's how you get better at different skills. So your brain's gonna be taking up some of its space thinking, how can I get better at video games? Then it's going to be thinking, and this is obviously the important stuff, how can I solve the problem in business one? How can I solve the problem in business two that I'm having? How do I make more money with NFTs? This is what your brain's being split up from. So the problem you have, as you probably see already, that if you have got, let's say, 10 different businesses running, or you've got 5 different businesses running, or you've got a load of NFT stuff, or you've got other things happening, all of a sudden, the actual power of your brain that's going towards your business drops to, what is this? We could say this is maybe like 20%, this segment here. That's like 20% of your brain. Your brain's a very powerful tool. And currently, you've only got around 20% of it actually being used to make you more money, to actually help build a good business. The rest of this stuff is bullshit. And like I said, when you've got things like food, sex, safety, these things are a necessity. Like you can't get them out of your brain. It's just a part of your animal instincts. You can't really get rid of these. But obviously things like drugs, NFTs, video games, these can all just be completely eliminated. You don't need these. You can just completely remove all of these. So what's happening with me? Why is this relevant in this video? So what I noticed, and if I look at my brain, I'm not going to go through all the drugs, sex and rock and roll, even though I am an absolute rock star, obviously. You'll notice that if I've got, let's say I've got, just talking about business only, if I've got business here, business here, business here, and business here, maybe this business here is team follow-up. Maybe this business here is Hawk Reach. Maybe this business here is the e-commerce stuff I was doing. And even the YouTube channel, that's obviously something on my mind. I'm having to put time and my brain's got to think of new content. Maybe I'll put YouTube in here. Then I've also got NFTs in here. So I'm sitting there saying, yeah, team follow-up's my number one thing. I'm going to get to $1 million a month. It's going to be the best thing ever. I'm all out on this. I'm just focusing on this. When in reality, TFU, team follow-up's probably taking maybe about 30% of my brain power. Hawk Reach is maybe taking 20%. The e-com stuff, 20%. YouTube maybe, make sure I got my maths right here, 20%. And then I've got, I don't know, 10% for NFT stuff. So if I just literally cut out the stuff that I can cut out, if I just literally cut out the e-com and entirely move that towards team follow-up, all of a sudden, I've now got 50% of my brain power being used to team follow-up. And this helps me solve a lot of problems. A lot of things that happen in team follow-up that I'm thinking, how do I solve that issue? Because that's essentially what you do as entrepreneurs. You're solving problems for other people, and then you get paid for that. So the team follow-up, I've solved the problem of lead gen agencies having clients moan at them for leads not being good enough, even though the clients don't follow up with leads themselves. That's what I've solved. But within that bigger problem, I've got lots of little problems. And I have to think about them. I've got to apply brain power to them problems to actually be able to solve them. Otherwise, I just can't solve them. What's the point? So if I'm only using 30% of my brain, what the hell? Am I really going to be able to get to $1 million a month? No, I'm not that smart. It's some crazy thing. There's no chance. And this is what happens to a lot of businesses. They have so many little businesses because they think it's like the diversification. But ultimately, you're actually really hurting yourself. So when I look at this as well, I've got NFTs here. So if I just sold all of my NFTs and sold all of my crypto stuff and just didn't worry about it, then that all of a sudden now becomes 60%. If I can automate some more of HR, Hawk Reach, maybe that can go down to like 5% because I've still got to do little bits here and there. All of a sudden now I've got 75%. The YouTube, I'm going to keep doing YouTube. It's important to me and I think it's going to be great to see when I'm older. I like to have all these videos and stuff and produce content. I love doing it. I think it's great. So I'm going to keep doing that. But ultimately, if I really wanted to, I could get rid of that. And all of a sudden now I'd have 95%. And it wouldn't ever be fully 95% because I've still got other things going on in my mind. I do go out and eat food and drink with my friends and I play video games and things like that. So that is going to be naturally taking up parts of my brain, but I also want to live. Like I'm not going to become a monk and just only work on business. I don't want to live like that. It's a choice. Some people want to live like that and they can be really successful at it. I feel like I can be successful without doing that. So that's just a choice I want to make, and yeah, whatever. But the point I'm making is that if you have so many projects going on in your life or so many things that are happening, you can't ever focus on one thing. You're split between too many things. And like I said, this happened to me recently. So what I've now done is I had a whole ecom stuff. I've put about probably $10,000 into some ecom stuff that I've been building. I've just put it all on pause for now. That 10 grand is like just wasted essentially. It's just sitting. I could have put that into some index funds or something and got some return on it. But now it's sitting somewhere and it's just like sitting in I've got inventory, I've got websites, I've got designs, I've got all this stuff done, but I'm not doing anything with it now because I've decided that trying to get the ecom stuff working and generating an income while I'm still trying to build TFU, overall is going to make me less money. Because if I just put that time into TFU, I can scale so much faster. And then in the future, don't get me wrong, in the future when TFU is more automated and it's working, it's pumping out a good amount of money, I can then take that money and take that time from TFU and then put it into the ecom stuff and go all out on ecom. And a really cool analogy that I heard recently was that you can't catch two rabbits. Just focus on one rabbit and chase that one rabbit. If you try and chase 2 or 3 rabbits, you're never going to catch any of them. You just can't do it. So just focus on the one rabbit and then just go for that, and that will actually give you a return. You actually get a rabbit then, rather than trying to chase 2 or 3 and not catching anything. And then one final point about this. This isn't just your conscious mind. So obviously you're maybe thinking, oh, I do play video games, I do drugs, I do this, but I don't ever think about it. I never ever think about it. I know it's not affecting my brain, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's affecting your subconscious. This is why when I have a shower and I've got no music on and I've got no phone with me or anything like that, and this probably happens for a lot of people and maybe even yourself, that a lot of ideas start coming to you because your brain's finally given a chance to stop and the subconscious mind is processing all the things that happen obviously in the subconscious, but it's only allowed to come through to you when you're actually not being distracted by anything in your conscious mind. So don't think that your subconscious isn't working. It is working, and that's why people get great ideas when they're in the shower or when they're meditating, because their subconscious mind was working on it the whole time. It's only just been pushed to their conscious mind now because they've given their conscious mind a break from all the stimulus that they normally give it, like your iPhone and Facebook and social media and whatever. So don't think that, oh, because I'm not actively thinking about certain things, it doesn't mean that your brain isn't processing it in the background, and it still will push ideas towards you. I've had it so many times where I'll be taking my dog for a walk. I've got no phone with me, I've no social media, just walking in a field, and all of a sudden this mental idea will just come to me. I'm like, oh my God, why didn't I think of that before? That solves this whole problem, like this great idea. I wasn't actively thinking about the problem, it just come to me because my subconscious mind is still working on these things. So anyway, to summarize, make sure that you try to cut out as many distractions from your life and as many projects that you're working on from your life. Try and focus on just the ones you're most passionate about, you know? The projects that I sit there and I think I'd much rather be working on this rather than anything else, that's the one to focus on. When I'm sitting there working on Hawk Reach, I'm always thinking, when can I start working on team follow-up again? When can I start working on team? Because that's the thing I'm drawn to. I really want to work on that. I just constantly want to work on that. And that's how you know that that's the thing you should be focusing on, and cut everything else out. And that will do you a world of good, help you solve more problems. It'll give your subconscious and your brain more power to work on that other thing, and it'll just work so much better. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, as usual, please comment below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.